There's a lot more antics on the court now. I think some players are starting to really own their character and are being very authentic in that sense. I think it's great for pickleball. Something that was mentioned to me, I'm not going to mention who, by one of the PPA owners, is they were like, hey, own your character, bring it. That's what the fans want to see. They don't want to see tennis. They don't want to see golf. They don't want to see, high-end cattiness. Don't be afraid to bark back a little bit. Own your character. And if you want to be like a Rye or a Matt or a Travis Rettenmeier and bark back and use that, use it and abuse it. I think we're only going to see more of that. I think obviously there's plenty of fans who love that. There's plenty of fans who don't like to see me snap a paddle, as we're seeing on forums. I think it's great for the sport. Bring the heat. This episode is sponsored by Bemer Therapy. If you guys want to check out Bemer, great medical device. I've been using it for a long time now. I sleep on it. I use it morning and night. You can go to my website, TysonMcGuffin.com, and see what Bemer's all about. What's going on? My name is Tyson Mcguffin. Welcome to the Mcguffin Show. It is a beautiful day here in Coeur d'Alene. Was gone for a couple weeks, and I came home, and it's pretty damn cold here in Coeur d'Alene. Snow is on our pine trees. I hopped in the tub this morning. It's about 32 degrees. My tub is about 105. Yes, I was wearing shorts. It is a beautiful day. I got some boys here with me. It's a straight up boys party. Two guys who have not been on the pod. Matt Lauria and John Davison. Boys, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic to be on the Tyson Mcguffin Show.
K-Mac, what's going on, my man? The Maxter.
I'm just excited to be part of the boys crew here. Get to know these guys a little bit better, and let's have some fun today. Let's do it.
Let's have some fun. So Matt, I've known Matt, since what, 2018, 2019? Met my guy in Grand Rapids. We have a lot of things in common. We both like drinking beer. We both like playing pickle, and he's a total boy. Matt, is that correct? Is that how we met? Was it back in 2019, 2018, something like that?
I think it was 18. Yeah.
Beer 18, pickle boys.
The inaugural Beer City Open. I think that's how we met. So we connected there and bonded over all things hops at that point. I think for sure. And then I think I went from probably a 4-0 at that time to a little bit of Tyson coaching behind the fence. And by the end of the weekend, I think I was a 4.1. So thank you so much, Tyson.
Matt got McGuffin. The baby.
Woo! The .1.
Come on. And then Johnny.
I actually play with, at the first one, I got to play with actually the lovely Megan McGuffin in a tournament.
I forgot about that. How was playing with the Angel?
Yeah. It all became together at that weekend. And then actually for what I'm known best for actually here is actually for saying 4-letter words into microphones. I'm a stand-up comedian. So I'd like to say I'm a 6-0 stand-up comedian, 4-5 pickleball player, and then about a 3-0 on audio here, I'm sure right now.
and with a 6-0 face and a 6-0 body and definitely a 6-0 package. 6-0 package all day.
This is why you come to the McGuffin Show. This is why you come.
And then Johnny D, full of comedy, great looking stash. I'm very aroused because my stash does not grow in that thick. Has his own podcast. He's been commentating for APP. He does a little driving in the dirt as well. If I'm correct there. Likes
intentionally.
Likes drinking White Claws, and it's just a freaking stellar dude. John, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I cannot compete with the comedy of Matt, unfortunately. I think I might be like a 4-0 in that. But maybe a little higher in the pickleball. So
evens out.
I have something. Yeah.
The real rating.
Duper rating evens out.
And then you're talking about driving in the dirt. I try not to race in the dirt. I try to keep all 4 tires on the pavement, going around the speedways of America. But sometimes I end up a little upside down. It happens.
And so tell me, how did you get into that?
My mom raced before I was born. So I race Miatas right now. So total chick cars. I don't know how I fit in it, but just barely. And yeah, I've been racing for like 15 years. So I've been a little track kid ever since I was born.
Love it.
So John, are you more pickle or racing is like pickle the main thing and then racing on the side, or racing the main thing, pickle on the side, or a little kind of an even blend of both, or what is it these days?
I wouldn't say that I'm all pickle, right? I mean, I'm not like, I'm more like a semi-pro. You know what I mean? Like I enter and donate to everyone else, and hopefully get a couple wins.
Get a couple dubs.
A couple wins. Well, I'm probably better at racing, but I just haven't done it as much lately because it's expensive. It's way more expensive.
Right. Yeah. Much more expensive habit than catching the pickle bug.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People complain about pickleball entry fees. They should try, actually racing some cars. It's maybe tenfold.
A little bit more expensive hardware too.
Yeah. Especially when you end up upside down.
Right.
That doesn't
Stay
help.
out of the dirt, okay?
Tyson, you'd have to break a hell of a lot of paddles under your knee to make up for a turned over car, right?
Correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, hey, on that note, a couple things we're going to be talking about here is Newport Beach, the PPA event that just took place this last weekend, the merge of Vibe and MLP, a new sponsor of mine, Miller Lite. Dun, dun, dun. And then I know John loves watching himself some UFC. K-Mac is kind of a fan because he's got to hear it from me all the time, and Matt
have to be, right?
Matt not too sure, but anyhow, there were some sick fights 2 weekends ago that we're going to be talking about. So appreciate you guys being on. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn those notifications on to my YouTube channel, best content in the game. We do educational videos. We obviously have the pod. We're going to start doing vlogs, and we are crushing content. My content is king. Subscribe today. So first and foremost, Newport Beach, first time playing with Parris Todd. She's got energy. She's very confident. She looks the part. She just signed with Selkirk. She's playing with the brand new replica. Don't even know what that thing is called, but she's playing with the new SLK.
Halo?
Yeah, the new. There we go. The Halo. The Halo. Anyhow, the Halo plays just like Ben's paddle, but it's got a bit more pop to it. Smart from Selkirk to make a replica of that, because everybody and their grandmother and their grandkids is using that Yola paddle, for gosh sakes. I mean, how many freaking units were sold when carbon went down? Tell me.
Unreal.
I mean, it was insane, bro. Anyhow, so played with Parris. She's a complete baller. We ended up getting rolled by the Newmans in like the quarters, defense for days. And Lindsay played exceptionally well. And we ended up, I think we went 5-2 that day, but we started at 11 o'clock. We finished at 9:30 that night. And I'll tell you what, there was a huge crowd at 9 o'clock that night to watch our bronze match. There was about 2 people in the crowd. And we made it all day long to just roll over and play dead in that bronze match. And we ended up losing to Anna Bright, Dylan Frazier, who is 2 young phenoms. Anna Bright's playing at a very high level. Dee Frazier is a complete stud. Played with Parris. Anyhow, what's your guys' take on Parris Todd's game?
Well, I think she splashed onto the scene with singles for sure. And I think, she proved herself in doubles at Major League Pickleball. Because I think at that point she was kind of unknown in doubles, what her game is. And I think when she first started in doubles, she was a little timid, just dinking balls, and now she's just lighting people up. So, I mean, in a very short time, she's come a very long way.
Yeah, I think, something that surprised me was, she's dinking super aggressively, and, she was disciplined to a certain degree, but she's got great hands, and that two-hander is a thing of beauty. I mean, for a girl who is, what is she, under like 110 pounds? I mean, or 105 pounds. Anyhow, I mean, for a girl that's that thin, and she can generate so much pop with that two-hander, but the offense was dialed. Like for a girl that played on the right, obviously in mixed, dinks well, drops well, drives well, can disconnect like there's no tomorrow, uses that two-hander, but she kept the guy honest all day long. She was speeding up, back behind the guy, up the line. She was working the right hip. The girl can do a lot of things well. K-Mac, what do you see in Parris' game, brother?
Did you ask me?
Yeah. K-Mac. Sorry, K-Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. So, to kind of repeat what John said, obviously she made a huge splash in singles with some of the best, cleanest ground strokes in the women's game for sure. But, a lot of times when someone comes in from pro tennis, their doubles game is a little impatient, quite honestly, because they're just so used to just blowing people off the court. I felt like I've commentated a couple of her matches. I felt like she's gone about that evolution the right way. I think she's tried to copy or mimic kind of that patient style. And then now she's played long enough where her offense, I feel like, is more calculated and it's coming at the right time. So I really think that her evolution as a doubles player is perfectly on track. She's only going to get better from here. I think you're starting to see some of the natural athleticism, and now she has the instincts to know when to speed it up versus when to grind.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think about Parris's fashion, brother?
Well, that's what you got to go to right away, right? You know, like the only presence on social media stronger than Tyson's is Parris's, right? And
That's true. It's true.
But I got to give her a lot of the celebrations. I mean, she's got to be on somewhat of a wavelength of what the commands are of near Tyson, right? I feel like you know, her celebrations and what she gets in terms of the intensity.
Yeah.
I feel like if she got a couple more grunts, man, you two playing together, I feel like would be like the best grunting duo out there in the sport.
Watch out. But no,
How are the celebrations?
Oh, bro, it was
Did I need some work, or how was it?
No, it was pure energy all day long. Pure energy, like fire in her eyes. I mean, she's a fierce competitor, and I mean, she's a dog at heart. In which I like. So yeah, I mean, honestly, she does a lot of things well. And I think, you know, she's got plenty of upside. She just moved to Fort Myers. Big shout out to Fort Myers and that whole incident down there. I mean, what a sad ordeal. But anyhow, yeah. So she's around high level bodies, and I think something that we can talk about here is that how much upside there is. And K-Mac and I have touched on this various times, but how much upside there is with having high level people around you and having people to push you, having people to beat you in practice and make you feel pressure and put yourself in those pressure scenarios. You take a look at Delray Beach. I mean, it's just a freaking hotbed of, you have the Johnsons, you have the Waters, you have James Ignatowicz, you have Anna Bright, you have Andre Diascu, you have Eden Lika, who's eating children for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, and John, aren't you in that area?
No, I'm like 4 hours north.
Shame on Tyson. Get your shit together.
I know.
But anyhow, I mean, it's wild, you know, like, I mean, that whole area is as hot as could be. Fort Myers, you know, you have Kyle Yates, Pablo, Catherine Parento, Simone. So I think you're a product of your environment, and what we're starting to see is players get good freaking fast.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I'm in Florida, but I'm in the northeast corner. So I'm basically Georgia, and all of those hotbeds are 4 to 5 hours away.
Dang.
So it's tough. We have to make like a weekend out of it if we decide to, you know. So
yeah, for sure, right.
It's unfortunate.
And Matt,
I think.
Go ahead, K-Max. Sorry.
So yeah, just real quick. I mean, for those that don't know, I recently moved to my hometown of Sequim, Washington. I don't get an opportunity to play with Tyson as often, but when we were playing in our area, it was a lot of just drilling. I now, spent this last week doing a lot of match play, and even though it's more low 5-0, high 4-5 play, I just played in Newport, and I felt like I was so much more prepared to play matches just because I spent a week of getting just a lot of decently high-level match play in. So the big difference of just getting touches and drilling to actually getting match play and high-level match play on a regular basis, I mean, you really can't put a price on how much that can prepare you for knowing your own game, know what it takes to kind of win at a higher level, and know what patterns that you want to use. It's everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that drilling is good for a lot of reasons, but if you don't see those balls in the match play, once you go to the tournament after only drilling, it's tough to like catch up.
It's a tough transition. It really is.
And Matt, tell us about the group that you play with there in Grand Rapids. I mean, not only is there people there that are high level, but you have some cool cats in your area.
Yeah. It's a lot of, if you get the invitation from Andrea Coop, you kind of just quit your job and walk out the door to go drill.
Especially after this weekend, baby, 2 golds.
Exactly, man. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, every once in a while you get a text. She's like, can you be available in an hour to drill? And you're just like, I have shoes in the car. Let's go. So, no, we got a decent amount of 5-0s around this area. Really, obviously, Paul Richards and Andrea Coop put together the Beer City Open. So it's been a phenomenal resource to drive at least a lot of people to Grand Rapids because they know, frankly, it's the home of Coop. So they drive a lot of 5-0. I would say probably the level of winning some pro tournaments that are Midwestern per se. You'll find a lot of people like that. Shane Stokes, good friend of mine. I think he's taught a couple camps with you, Tyson.
Oh yeah, love me some
and
Shane.
then get a decent amount of people like Justin DeWeird too, who actually drills a lot with Andrea Coop. But it's been a great area in terms of like to what you're saying, Kyle, that you kind of get some of those high level matches and such too to prepare you for tournaments. But then not many people that want to drill, so it's either what you make of it, and hopefully that turns out the way that it did for you in Newport Beach.
Yeah, for sure. Matt, if you don't mind, tell us about Grand Rapids, because I mean, I get asked this question all the time. You know, what places I love to visit, and definitely a top 5 of mine is Grand Rapids, and also too, with that, can you please tell us your best Shane story, because he's a true degenerate.
He's going to become infamous. One podcast and he's going to be infamous. No, dude, I'm going to call the mayor after this podcast and tell him that you called it a top 5 place by Miller Lite sponsored, Selkirk sponsored, sponsored by all the above. Tyson Mcguffin says it's top 5 places to visit. So if you haven't been, listeners, you're missing out on Beer City, USA. If you stumble every 32 steps, you're going to fall into a craft brewery around this town. It's phenomenal for that, but the lake shore is 20 minutes away too. And so if we just could get rid of this little thing called winter and what we think of as spring, we could be Orange County, I'm pretty sure, if we just had 70-degree days.
Well put.
I
love it.
Talk to the mayor about that too. Just no more winter, mayor. I'm done with it.
He stopped receiving my emails for some reason, but we'll work out that. No, it's been an amazing community for this, and we have a hell of a club here in Grand Rapids. Not just Grand Rapids, you get down to Southwest Michigan and up to some of the northern Michigan, Traverse City area and such as well too. They do a great job. There's some over 50 pros in this area too, so some senior tour pros that are in the area. So it's been a great community for it, but I can't put enough of a stamp to come to Beer City Open if you can, because it is one of the most fun tournaments in terms of like just you're going to celebrate, you're going to have a good time, and you might shake a hangover off in the first game you play in the match the next day.
Sweating out that Soup's Juice from Parent Brewery, best hazy in the world. Even though I haven't traveled everywhere, but as far as I know, best hazy IPA I've ever tasted. Parent Brewery. That's where. Do you guys? Are they still like one of the main sponsors? Do you guys still have that little dinner pro party there and stuff like that?
Yeah, last year we just decided to do it at the courts. So we've been doing it there now. Actually, myself and comedian Alan True, who's another 4-5 pickleball player around here, recruited from. It's the first time I've ever recruited somebody from the stage to the pickleball court. If you look him up, he's actually a recruiter from high school football to collegiate football for Fox Sports. Alan Trieu. He's an amazing comedian as well too. So we got to do a roast in 2021 of the Beer City Open, pickleballtournaments.com, and just in general of all the pros before the tournament started. So we've been doing the players party now out at the courts where have an amazing beer garden and a 15-minute set by Alan and myself, where we just roast the hell out of the sport we love.
Love it.
It's the only time people always say, do you joke about pickleball in your act? And I'm like, 3/4 of the audience doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I don't utilize too much, but when you have an entire 16, 20 courts where you can actually hit on pickleball, it's amazing the laughs you can get when people know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think, Matt, you need to do a bit where you're on stage and you get that text from Andrea and you just walk off the stage and say, sorry, guys, I gotta bail, just mid-act.
I know I'm getting paid for this, but you have no idea how much her down the line volleys are going to help me here right now, guys. Bye.
and then Matt, a great story that I would love to tell is, it was 4th of July. 4th of July, Grand Rapids, beautiful. We're at Shane's little lake house. Took the boat out, got just completely annihilated all day long, and we ended up hopping on the boat. We had Andrea Coop on there, a couple others, yourself, your beautiful wife now, and Shane put that boat in cruise control. He was hammered all day long, and we just circled that little lake for about 6 hours. And yeah, pumping music, dancing. Some of the photos were just ridiculous, bro. Anyhow, that was probably one of my better 4th of July shindigs, and to be on a boat, to be hanging out with you, to be hanging out with all the boys in Grand Rapids, it was truly a memory that I'll always have.
Oh man, that's going to the mayor as well too, and to Shane's inbox as well too. Shane knows how to throw a heck of a party and is a heck of a host. And I think at one point we asked you, Tyson, what will be your walkout song for the Beer City Open if you could play it for everything? And I think he went with Project Pat, Chicken Head.
Of course, come on.
We played that song 47 times.
Some of that P-Pat. Love it. Okay, back to Newport Beach here, huh? Okay, so I got completely annihilated in the finals. It was definitely not one of my better showings. I did everything right, ran the interview through my head Saturday night, visualized everything, visualized myself. Bro, I had the interview down to a T. I was going to say there's only one line in this jungle, kill or be killed. I'm the guy. This is my time. I don't even know who Ben Johns is. And anyhow, I was going to go into like a bunch of inspirational stuff about how, people should have the right mindset. Doesn't matter if you've been losing the same person time and time again. Like if you have the right mindset, if you use the right keywords, if you put yourself on a pedestal, you can freaking do anything. Anyhow, I was dialed, bro, dialed mentally, physically. Got a 2-hour massage Saturday night, woke up, got in the tub Sunday morning, ate 2 meals, and just played like, just rolled over and died basically. Did not play well. Anyhow, there was a little controversy. Actually, no, there wasn't any controversy. I just, I'm a warrior at heart, and I play with a lot of intensity, as most people see. I think that's why I can cater to a lot of people. I can cater to families. I can cater to the, I can cater to people that want to take camps. I can cater to that roughneck of, like the tattoos and the stash and the mullet and all the above. Anyhow, there was a little, people have been blasting me smashing my paddle over my knee, and I did it very easily. And now people are kind of pecking at me. Haters are going to be haters. I always say, like, if you don't have haters, you're obviously not doing something right, or you're not bold enough, or you're not loud enough, or you're not representing your brand well enough. But it's kind of funny. Some people are like talking trash about the Selkirk paddle. They're like, yeah, I would never pay $333 for a paddle that can break over, somebody's knee, or, Tyson's trash. Or there was another comment that said, he's just a crybaby with tattoos. He's not even like a dog at heart. There's some other fans that are saying at least he doesn't sleep with people's wives. Won't talk about that. And so there's just lots of stuff going on. And anyhow, the one thing I love is that after I got rolled by Ben, I totally cried after, man. Like, this stuff means so much to me. Cried after. And actually, sorry, before I cried, I ran out of the court. I threw 2 paddles out to the crowd. So I smashed one, finished my match, ran out, threw 2 paddles out to the crowd, got to my car, started crying, went home, got all my stuff packed, went to the airport, started boozing very hard. And I started seeing videos pop up on Facebook about, me breaking my paddle over my knee. Anyhow, I started pecking away and kind of writing back and stuff and saying, hey, like, I do free kids camps, because people are saying, he's got kids, like, this is such a bad look, yada, yada, yada. And I basically said, most times that I play, if I'm in a final, win or lose, I throw paddles out to the crowd. And on top of that, I give back a ton. I do free kids clinics at most PPA events. And that comment probably got like 300 likes. And I actually took a photo of that, put it on my story. And not only, was there backing like behind that post, but that video got blasted on various forums. My fans have been eating up haters like there's no tomorrow. So honestly, like, it just comes to show, like, I don't know, just so much depth. And it's just cool to see how deep my support grows, when something like this happens, That's what
I was going to say is, man, for every one of these haters, I hope that you get 2 for the opposite. because that's what I've seen from it, man. Like, even when I saw like some of the forum things where who did it better, your knee or Bo Jackson. I mean, like, that's, I think it's important, of the situation. And let's be real, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that are also going to gravitate towards something like that. Like, oh my God, a human. Oh my God, someone that has emotions. I mean, we're talking about, a racket sport, name some of the biggest tennis names that we all like to follow. Even if we, sometimes might go, we don't agree with what Nick Kyrgios may do. Sometimes it's entertaining, man, and you like to see that it's a human in a lot of these ways. The same thing with Joke. He realizes that he has to get it all out in the moment, and then he's going to go right back to being the wolf.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
I'm bravo for being a human.
Thanks, bro. And I truly, K-Mac knows this, I play a lot better when I snap paddles. Something that I didn't mention in my previous podcast is that I played Jay at Nationals this last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I fought off 12 match points against Jay, which was kind of silly. And I won game 1. I lost game 2. When I lost game 2, same thing. I turned my back so nobody could see it, snapped it over my right leg, threw it on the ground, and my level got tremendously better.
You'd love to see it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, Tyson. We've even discussed this in camps about, under the topic of kind of being yourself out there and kind of knowing who you are and what brings your level higher. And it doesn't have to be the same answer for everybody, but you've competed a long time in a lot of sports. Kind of the fire that burns inside of you. And if you need to kind of have a calculated kind of release of whatever that is to refocus and kind of demand better of yourself, I think that it makes a lot of sense. I just think a lot of times, and I read some of the comments, I thought they were ridiculous. I just think a lot of times people don't really understand context, and there's a way to, kind of get angry or just demand more from yourself that I think is healthy. And the way that you broke the paddle was super covert. It's like you almost did it in secret. And so I just view that as very different from any of these other blow ups or situations that other people would compare it to. I just don't even think it was a big deal at all, but that, it's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and also too, I feel like a lot of people, they want to see passion when things are going well, but then as soon as things go bad, they're like, oh my gosh, you can't show any emotion. You just have
Great
to be,
point.
So it's I always think of Cam Newton in the situation. Remember when Cam Newton had a heck of a year? He was in the Super Bowl finals, I believe, and lost. And he's just sitting on the ground, crying and kind of throwing a tantrum. Everyone's giving him all this, this hate for it. It's dude, this dude just worked so hard to get to this point. And that passion is going to show when things go bad too. If you have a passionate player when things go well, you also have to expect it when things go bad and not hate him for it, because this is Tyson probably works harder than any other pro in pickleball, arguably, right? So if he's not playing well, who cares if he breaks a paddle? I love it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just tough, man. I dedicate my whole life to this stuff. I sacrifice time away from my kids when I'm home, practice in the morning for 2 hours, go work out for 2 hours, come back, do another session in the afternoon, and mentally, physically did everything right, got the massage, ran the match through my head various times, had the interview dialed. And yeah, it just honestly, it freaking hurts when you do everything right and you just don't show up and you play like crap. So kudos to Benny. The guy's a stud, biggest goat in the game. Not only is he a stud in men's, but he's a baller in men's doubles. He's a baller in mixed, and he's crushing. So kudos to that man. Let's talk about Riley and Matt beating Ben and Colin. I think one thing that was different this time was that they were getting beat in the cross, so they were getting beat by stacking. Rye and Matt were. The last couple times they played, Ben was serving aggressively, or Colin would serve aggressively. Ben would slide over, cover 80% of the court as he does. He'd bang thirds, make it messy, come in and crash. Anyhow, he was getting cheapies, and the Johns boys were able to get some freebies in that area because Rye, it probably wasn't Rye, it was more Matt. Matt had a hard time hitting a return and getting his ass over to the right side, right? So with that being said, there was openings in the middle, and they were missing volleys, and so anyhow, so they were getting cheapies, and so this time around, smart of Rye and Matt, they took that away. They played straight up on the return. They stacked while they were serving. They win at Ben. relentlessly. I mean, it was blind aggression. And as we see, I mean, Ben and Catherine lost and mixed. Julian Arnold went through Ben the whole time. And I'm not going to lie, you know, I think paddle technology is getting more advanced. I think people are just players in general are starting to be more aggressive. And, you know, there's obviously less dinking. There's more attacks. There's more speed ups off the bounce. There's more speed ups out of the air. And anyhow, Rye and Matt just blew through Ben. And as we saw, I mean, not only was Ben getting beat head to head, but once he got beat head to head, then his drop consistency went down and he wasn't as aggressive and he let Colin take more balls off his inside foot. And I kid you not, like the one way to beat that man is, you know, beating him head to head. And then he won't take as much court, you know. And, you know, as we saw, Ryan and Matt put on a great performance, and kudos to those guys.
Well, I think that's the key. The key too, from an analytical standpoint, Tyson, is it's not that Ben doesn't have great hands. I mean, Ben obviously has amazingly fast, you know, and powerful and consistent hands. But you know, you can take 70+% of the court from a dinking standpoint, but it's a much bigger ask to be able to cover that much court and win some of these elite hand battles. And I think that's what Matt and Riley have realized as far as the blueprint is, you know, they both are known for their hands as well. And so if they speed up a little bit more often, it's much tougher for Ben to cover that much court in those fast exchanges. So it's exciting to see this kind of rivalry build more and more, and we'll see which way it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's also getting Ben out of his patterns that he wants to get into.
Yep.
Right. When they're starting that attack first, Ben's not getting in those, you know, the cross court dink and speed up with the backhand. Right. He's not getting in those patterns that he wants to. You're beating him to the punch.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And K-Mac says it the best. I mean, Ben's more of like an off-ball type of player, right? Right, K-Mac? I mean, you've said that a ton. You know, Colin's more of like the on-ball player. Ben's more of like the off-ball player. And, you know, I think something that's been differently. I mean, Jay and I, so it took me 3 years to beat this man in singles. Took me 4 years to beat this man in doubles. And I beat him back-to-back weekends. And I'm freaking re-inspired because I'm a brand new man. I'm a brand new freaking man. Anyhow, we beat him this last...
You're a Miller Lite man now.
Watch out. TM Miller Lite. Watch out. Anyhow, we beat him at Nationals this last weekend. Kudos. It was with the Franklin ball. I actually dinked to Ben probably 60% of the time. We kind of kept Colin out of it. Anytime I had a ball that was up high enough, I'd flick it at Colin, beat Colin head to head, bark away, get in their face, let them know that I'm the dog. And also, too, Jay was lobbing cross court, just like what Matt does, lobs cross court. Jay played the right, I played the left. Jay was speeding up back behind Ben, and he's speeding up at Ben's hip. And after that match, I like put my finger up and like shushed everybody, and then did like the LeBron James stomp and like danced around for a while. Anyhow, damn near took my shirt off. I was more than excited. Honestly, bro, I was hyped. I was hyped. I was hyped. I like put the finger up, like was like, yeah, just going crazy. Crowd was going crazy. I was pumping the crowd up. Anyhow, probably one of the better memories that I had from Nationals, that's for sure. So believe, you know, it's what it's all about.
And I think it's, you know, I think that's, you know, Ben's been amazing, still is amazing, but part of the reason his dominance was so high is I just think people had the wrong blueprint for the longest time. They're like, okay, well, Ben and Colin, Ben's great, so let's go to Colin and test Colin and make Colin beat us. But Colin's such a specialist, and like you referenced, Tyson, you know, Ben being so good off the ball, he can do so many more things. But Ben's so disciplined most of the time when you hit him a lot of balls that in some ways he's much less offensive on the ball than off the ball, especially in men. So I just think people are realizing the blueprint, and the Johns boys see the game as well as anyone. It'll be really exciting for me, being the strategy geek I am, to see what kind of counter moves do they potentially present as they lose a few more of these matches in these big moments. So I'm very curious, you know, does Colin start to take a little bit more court? Does he not work that fade strategy as much? Does Ben start speeding up a little more often and taking it to you earlier? It's just, only time will tell.
For sure. Something that I witnessed at Newport is, K-Mac and I have talked about this. When Benny's a great loser, Benny's a great winner, but he is not a great loser. And I think you can definitely, I mean, not to throw shade his way, but you can really judge somebody's character by how they lose. And I talked to Catherine all day long. I was watching their matches. I was talking to Catherine's trainer. I was talking to Athena. And he literally didn't say a word to Catherine all day long. I mean, like when things aren't going well, like I understand he's talented. He does a lot of things well, but as far as like communication skills, when things are not going well, there's not a whole lot there. And obviously it's kind of a tricky, topic here, but that's if there's something that's spot on about that whole equation, it's that.
For sure. It's kind of obvious watching from home as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anyhow, so let's see what else took place in Newport. Do you guys like center court? Like the look of it? Like the look of the whole facility with the drone footage?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I'm actually curious on what you thought about the LED behind the court. Yeah. When it's blue, is that hard to see? Bro. Because I think Megan Dazan might have been complaining a little bit. I mean, it looks sick on the watch it from home, but I don't know if it's hard to see the ball.
So anytime that I play, I'm probably one of the more prima donnas in that area. But anytime I'm facing the screen, I always have Chris, DJ Selkirk, who is a total TM fan. I always tell Chris to like turn down the lighting. So I could be the only one that does that. PPA pros in general. Chris usually, so Chris DJ booths always lines up on the side that the screen is not on. So if you're on that side, Chris is basically like right to your left. So look at Chris and say, hey, DJ Selkirk, turn that down. Because I mean, honestly, too, like, a Duraball with that bright blue background, it's tough. And yeah, so I always have him like turn the tint or turn the shade down just so it's just so the ball pops out a bit more and it's more like a watermelon versus like a grape,
Mm-hmm.
It was cool to actually see that club too as well, just from a spectator tone point, because I believe it was CBS Morning that did the story on it, and they talked to the Newport Beach Tennis Club. I don't know if you guys saw that. They spoke to it, and how it was the Newport Beach Tennis Club, and they kind of asked, what is it like having all these pickleball courts? And then when you got to see that overhead with the drone, it was like, oh yeah, we're moving in a little bit. Like it was kind of fun just to kind of see that from an arrogant standpoint, and to bring it back here a little bit. I'm obviously, I'm going to mention this every 5 minutes, otherwise I don't get paid by Tyson, but I'm a stand-up comedian. But Michael Costa is a Daily Show correspondent. He actually used to be a Comedy Store dude. He has countless Comedy Central specials, and he was on the Fox Sports 1, Regis Philbin, Crowd Goes Wild talk show that they had for a while as well, too. Long story boring. He is I think he was ranked like 279th in the tennis world, and I've gotten to play pickleball a couple times. I messed up, so if somehow Costa watched this, I had him play, I was like a 3-0 at that time, so I had him play a bunch of 3-0s and 3-5s, and he's like, this is stupid. I hate this. And so that's my fault in all of it, but now I'm trying to convince him back into it. But this all goes to a point that he played tennis at Illinois, and he graduated the same year as Matt Wright. In Illinois and Michigan at that time were basically 1 and 2 in the Big Ten. And when I tried to introduce him to the sport, I was like, Matt Wright plays it. And he's like, Fat Matt plays that sport? Now you've less-fooled me on this. So it's a fun little rivalry that I always love to bring up to him. So, like, whenever Matt Wright's on, like, something that's accessible on the Tennis Channel, which he does correspondence on the Tennis Channel as well, too, in our interviews, I'm like, hey, your boy Fat Matt's on the Tennis Channel just as much as you, but probably more now, because he plays pickleball and you're just a talk show host. So it's a real fun little banter we have there.
Love it. That's too funny. Speaking of Matt Wright, Matt and Lucy, who obviously took second, AJ and Coop took gold. AJ played like a stud and Coop was solid as could be. In their semis match, they were playing Jocelyn J, Frenchie, and Jesse, and somebody in the crowd. Actually, so first of all, Jay and Matt are definitely not homies. They live in the same area and they do not train together. And so they were kind of going back and forth, usual antics, right? And anyhow, somebody in the crowd told Matt that he sucked, and Matt barked back. Don't know specifically what he said, but anyhow, it's there's a lot more antics on the court now. I think some players are starting to really own their character and are being very authentic in that sense. I think it's great for pickleball. Something that was mentioned to me, I'm not going to mention who, by one of the PPA owners, is they were like, hey, own your character, bring it. That's what the fans want to see. They don't want to see tennis. They don't want to see golf. They don't want to see, high-end cattiness. Don't be afraid to bark back a little bit. Own your character. And if you want to be like a Rye or a Matt or a Travis Rettenmeier and bark back and use that, use it and abuse it. I think we're only going to see more of that. I think obviously there's plenty of fans who love that. There's plenty of fans who don't like to see me snap a paddle, as we're seeing on forums. And anyhow, I think it's great for the sport. Bring the heat.
Bring the heat. We need some WWE in this,
We definitely do.
At the very least, it keeps the pod fresh, right?
Keeps the pod fresh. We will gladly talk about it.
Good material. We need some good material.
It's all about the content, and I really just want to see some fist fights. I don't condone violence, but it would be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe just one. Our first pickleball fist fight.
I think I was the first to really lay the hammer down. We talked about this in our last episode, not to repeat myself, but was playing Matt at Texas Open 2019, and I definitely threw the bird at him in a mixed match, and then in the finals on ESPN Plus. Sorry, we got into it. I may have used my middle finger, and we there were some words exchanged on the sideline. He called me a fraud. I got my index finger out, got all fired up, said he's terrible for pickleball and he's ugly and all the above. Anyhow, Matt sent me a text this morning, and actually I'm gonna read the text that Matt sent me because it's actually brilliant. And Matt and I are boys now, and that's what I like about the guys on tour. We can be enemies on the court, but there's a ton of camaraderie off the court. Women, on the other hand, not the case.
Right.
Not the case.
A woman scorned. It takes longer. The longer reset method sometimes.
Let's see here. Yeah. So he said it was kind of brilliant. He said, but he said, I gotta say, the keyboard heroes taking the moral high ground on a paddle break is just ridiculous. Seriously, the keyboard warriors living in their glass houses are just unbelievable. You literally never show any negativity, and then you do once, and people have to chime in. They just can't help themselves. F-bomb, absurd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Way to represent Matt's woman.
Yeah, right. But anyhow, I mean, talk about a guy who's 44, 45, playing the best pickle of his life. Don't think he trains a whole lot. He's an attorney in Wichita. He's a freaking dog at heart, plays the big points well. When his back's against the wall, he can bring the goods. I mean, his hands he's seeing the ball like the size of a watermelon. And, age is no thing, baby. Age is no thing. Guy's playing great.
Yeah, he is. He's a stud. He's one of the best at attacking. I played him U.S. Open for the first time this year, and he just lit me up. I mean, I was not prepared at all.
Incoming!
He made me look stupid.
Mayday!
He made me look stupid. It was so funny. The first 2 points, he hits me right in the right hip. I'm like, I see this now. Next point, I'm like, okay, I got this covered. He hits me right in the right shoulder. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't get away with this guy.
That's too funny. Yeah.
No, I think, John, to me, I think his attacking IQ is as good as anyone. I watched him play a match in Cincinnati, and I could be getting the players mixed up, but it's when he was playing with Spencer Smith. And I think they were playing Tyler Leung and Colin Dawson. And obviously they're going to Spencer almost the whole time, but almost every time Matt touched the ball, which wasn't often, he had to, kind of come up with a creative attack and really go for more. And the variety and the ability to kind of pick apart Tyler and Colin, who have really good hands, just you could kind of see how cerebral and how calculated it was. And that's with him having to redline his game and not even be able to work a point and kind of build his moments. So, I mean, it's pretty underrated how cerebral he is when it comes to, where to attack, how to attack, what speed to attack, where's the likely counterattack coming. And I think that's the side of the game that's just going to get more and more evolved as better athletes come in.
Mm-hmm.
His counterattacking when it comes to barking too is one of my favorites. I got to give some compliments to him because the first match I think I ever seen him mix play against Julian Arnold, his Andiamo back to him was pretty great. So I was very impressed with that. So bravo on the dark backs.
Yeah,
right. He's both a counter attacker verbally as well. Right?
Right.
He knows the moves verbally too.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so Danny Duncan. Danny Duncan is a YouTube influencer, makes a bunch of prank videos, pretty funny, gives back a ton. A phrase that he uses all the time is that his daddy owns the county. He'll be like wreaking havoc in Inglewood, where he lives in Florida, and he'll be doing like crazy stuff in the town, and he'll tell people, he'll be like, my daddy owns the county. Anyhow, Danny Duncan, cool dude. He's a big fan of mine. He was at the tournament this last weekend. Him and Ryan Cherry also kick it as well. They play at the Underground there in Fort Myers. Danny came, showed up, showed out, supported me. It was my first time ever where I signed a chest after I won. I've smashed beers with fans. I've smashed beers with fans, after a dub, but I've never signed a body. And his buddy Cam, who's a complete stud, is in most of his content. Cam was there. And anyhow, cool guy. I mean, even though I'm sure there's a lot of people that watch his videos that think he's a piece of work, just by judging, not as true, just by judging how the looks of his videos kind of appeal to certain people, but deep down, Danny's got a big heart. He's very educated. He knows business, and he just completely crushes, man. Financially crushes, and most people don't know, or some things that most people don't know, is that he does a lot of things for his community with the hurricane that came through there. He's given back. He's helped. He's donated. So cool dude. But yeah, he was there chilling. He also played men's doubles. Him and Ruben worked for the PPA. They ended up going like 3-2. And I was kind of helping him. I was coaching a little bit on the sideline. But anyhow, I mean, it was cool. Like anytime that I go to Newport, honestly, there's a decent amount of celebs that are now showing up, that are playing, that are supporting as well, and pretty cool. Another person that is up there that is a complete badass. His name's Baird. Baird owns Jackson. I'm actually rocking the sweatshirt right now and rocking a little ice. I posted a video. I don't rock ice at all. That's not me. But hey, deal's a deal. And
things can change. Things can change, man.
Deals. Anyhow, cool dude. The guy grinds from morning till night, clean and sober. And it's got a super cool story. He played professional paintball growing up. Paintball led to him doing merchandise for Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. And then like 15 years later, these guys ended up fighting together. He went on tour with Jake Paul for a little bit. He used to own a bunch of nightclubs and restaurants and stuff in Newport Beach. And he also owns amusement parks nationwide with paintball and some other fun activities. Each facility has like 500,000 people that roll through there each year. Anyhow, check Baird out on Instagram. You can follow him. You can also check out Jackson. Badass jewelry, gold, silver, anything you want, bracelets. Necklaces. They got a bunch of cool gear as well. The merch line is kind of like a Legends to a certain degree, probably not as loud with shorts and stuff, but comfy, and he's a complete homie. Anyhow, there's a sushi restaurant called Nobu, very expensive. K-Mac got to go there. The place is insane, so insane.
It is.
He's like the highest paying customer at Nobu in Newport Beach. He goes there like 5 days a week. Anyhow, we went there and just crushed. I posted on all my stories. We ran through I don't know how much sushi, but cool dude. He was there supporting. He brought his whole Jackson crew to watch me just get completely bent over on Sunday, get rolled by Benny. But they were there supporting me, getting nice and loud. All the boys are dressed up in black, all wearing diamonds and stuff. And anyhow, cool guy. And I got to hang out with some pretty cool people this last weekend.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Yeah, you look like you're hanging out with Cheeto Vera too.
Oh, bro, I totally forgot about that. So I'm at Nobu with Baird, and I'm telling Baird, he's picking my brain about pickle and all the above, and we're talking business, and I'm like, bro, like I'm a big fan of UFC, and I'm a big fan of Cheeto, and I'm pretty sure Cheeto trains at RVCA close to here, and he's like, bro, he's like, give me 5 minutes. Calls Cheeto. 5 minutes later, Cheeto is sitting next to me at dinner, bro. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. Cheeto's my dog. And Cheeto is like number 2 or 3 in the division. He's won a couple fights in a row. Just got like that cheetah tattoo on top of his head. The guy's a total boy. Now Cheeto's in my phone. I'm talking to Cheeto about jumping on the pod when I come home after this 3-week journey. But bro, honestly, like, I don't know, just meeting cool people, hanging on to them, some of the resources that I'm starting to like tie into right now. Like, I never thought I'd be in this position. So blessed and happy.
I was just going to ask you if you compare tattoos with them, for sure. That was going to be the number one thing.
What's up?
You got to compare tattoos with them on the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Dollars and heart and all that. That's when all the females would tune in instead of just the all straight white male club. You know?
Right.
Diversify a little bit.
Speaking of tattoos, I'm actually going in this Saturday and getting my stomach covered, so I'll have the whole front covered, and then I'm getting my ribs done. And the ribs are the worst spot ever. So I'm about to swallow it down and freaking tough it out for like a 6-hour session. But anyhow, yeah, bro. I mean, Newport Beach, great place to hang out. Beautiful venue, cool people, and want to give a big shout out to my host, Charlotte. Charlotte is, I believe, one of the owners there at the Newport Club. She helps out a ton. Great person. Everyone needs a Charlotte in their area. She volunteers her time. She helps with leagues. She helps with socials, and she let me hang out at her place for a couple of days and stay in her guest room and use that hot tub. So Charlotte, appreciate you, baby. Matt, talk to us about Coop's 2 golds. Have you seen her? Have you talked to her?
I got a text. It was very Coop fashion. It was very just thank you. So that's about it.
Just like her interview.
Actually, there's a Moneyball tournament here on Friday that Shane Stokes is actually running. They're putting out there. They actually have videography crew that we're trying to start here in this town to try and run some of the more local tournaments, and then hopefully ultimately get some of the bigger ones in the Midwest as well too. But long story boring, she's going to be able to show up for that. I think she's going to be able to have a size float the size of a court to kind of roll around there to be able to have the 2 golds and
awesome.
Have to deal with 1,000 people that ask her why she didn't play singles so she could have got the Triple Crown. But
that's awesome.
That's a fair time.
I've
been here. Everyone in the community was so proud. It was a lot of people watching, a lot of people having fun, and it's you get to see a lot of the forum pages and stuff go pretty crazy when that happens and stuff. So I got to give her credit though, because she's not too big, because for this tournament, they're trying to get some people, some spectators and stuff. It's indoors. So they're offering free beer and a chili cook-off. And so Coop, even after winning 2 gold medals, is a competitor in the chili cook-off the day after Thanksgiving. So I'll tell you, if she gets her 3rd gold medal in the chili cook-off here on this Friday.
Watch out.
That can be her triple crown right there. Exactly. The chili cook-off title.
Yeah, what a complete baller. Fought well. I mean, that's the best I've seen her play. Hands look good. She looked sharp. She looked super fit. Fights like a dog. She had, she obviously went to UCLA. She in her interview, she said that she had some of her friends there. So I'm sure it was nice to have some Bruins support, even though the Bruins lost to the Trojans that Saturday night. But anyhow, cool girl, man. I've got a lot of respect for her game, and I've gotten the privilege to play with her various times, and cool girl.
That was actually probably the most jokingly I've ever seen her on court too. She was making a lot of jokes across the court to the remember she was playing women doubles and mix. She was actually making a couple of jokes back and forth, and I was like, okay, cool. I see you.
I see you, girl. Gentlemen, what do you think about the Vibe and MLP merge and them coming together? Talk to us.
Well, I thought it was interesting when Vibe came out, for sure. I think everybody was like, what is this? Like, what is the Vibe? And when they signed J-Dubs and Dylan, I think that put MLP in quite a predicament. And now I think them merging together is probably the best thing for the sport. Because now hopefully you're going to get everybody involved, because I'm sure a lot of the guys that were, guys and gals that signed PPA weren't able to play MLP, missing out on quite a bit of prize money. I'm sure that hurt. So, but again, I mean, the more talent you get in one spot is only going to be better for the sport. So I think they're they're trying to have what 22, 24 teams or something this year coming up. So
I think they're talking about 24. I think they're talking about 24 would be a ton. What do you think, Matt?
I love it. I mean, obviously, as a 4-5 player, you want to see all the best people at one tournament and such of that nature. And then when it becomes a destination, fortunately, having been a little bit on the sponsorship side when it comes to pickleball and such, and when you're trying to tell sponsors, like, okay, well, this is what this one tour is, and this is what this one thing is, you're already confusing them enough and trying to tell these things. And so when they can't figure it out, they're just like, well, where is the best? And I'm like, PPA, but you want, and so when you get to be able to have this, to be able to drive it down, and then from a spectator standpoint, from watching it from YouTube or Tennis Channel or anything, if we're able to get everyone on one team event, I really think that's what everyone would love to see as a television viewer, to be able to get that better, to be able to see it at, well, we'll see, I don't know, something that would be much more of an element of like, this is exactly what we had hoped pickleball would be in terms of camaraderie and just rowdiness and, almost like Laver Cup, but with a hell of a lot less pinky up. So
I think there's just something about the team environment that works for pickleball. It just works. I think everybody kind of realized that right from the first one. I think as a fan, I was in the same boat where I loved watching the latest ones, but a part of you is like, man, I wish all the best names could be here, and that way you can see how everybody does against everyone. And so, when Vibe came out, it just, I'll admit, I didn't love it, because MLP even at that time was talking about changing their format to only being one day of MLP, but then being more of a traditional tournament. So it felt like MLP was trying to be more like the PPA Tour and the APP, which it's like, man, the knock you already hear is that we already have two tours. Some people wish for just one. Now it's almost like a third tour. So now with them being merged, my understanding is they're going back more to the traditional format of it being its own event, team-based event. And now hopefully it'll be the best of both worlds. I think it's the right direction for pickleball with where it's at now. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about how the draft is going to work. I think there's a lot of questions still to be answered with that, but we're along for the ride, and I think it's going to be a big positive for pickleball.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I mean, and I've commentated the last MLP at Columbus, and that was probably the most fun matches I've commentated. It's like Kyle, you've done it. I think you do a pretty good job doing the color. I actually really enjoy listening to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, man.
But when you're sitting there in that booth for 8 hours a day, and you kind of get like the same side out scoring matches, right? For 8 hours, it gets tough. But then when you have the team atmosphere and everything's changing and nothing is the same, and the rally scoring, I think it creates like so much more excitement. And I think you see that with the fans too, because the fans at MLP go nuts, because I think it's easier. Yep. It's easier to relate to because the rally scoring, right? You're always like getting to a goal. You're always working your way to the end goal of winning, right? It's not like 0-0 for 20 minutes in singles, So, but then it's like people band around a team. So I think like having that team atmosphere, and then I'm looking forward to watching a Ben play with the 48th pick. Like, that's what, and an AL playing with the 48th pick. Like, and seeing how well they do,
Well, I think you referenced it. Yeah. I mean, so Tyson and I have talked about like, one of the things we're big believers in when we teach camps is just bringing energy. Like, you've got to bring it for it to be there for the camp. I've felt that the few times I've been in the booth commentating. Like, I don't want to get so monotone. Like, I feel like, okay, I need to bring some energy, get excited at times. But I think with MLP, it probably came naturally, right? You don't feel like you had to add anything extra. You can kind of pay attention to the, what's the vibe of the team, and their reaction to their teammates fighting out there. There's so much more to talk about, so much more natural energy that you can kind of just feed off of. I think that's what everyone's kind of noticed watching it. And so hopefully this will be the best of both worlds, once this newest one gets going.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm looking forward to it.
From a live spectator standpoint, too, at the Beer City Open, we were lucky to have that Tuesday pickleball night in America from MLP at the Beer City Open, and then on Sunday as well, too. And I remember walking up with, like, Yeti coolers for the beer garden and just hearing the that you normally hear from a different match and stuff. And I was like, this is the Tuesday. of the tournament. And then you would hear the stands too, like whatever they were rooting for in terms of a particular team. When it was a possibility to go to singles, everyone was against whatever happened, and they just wanted it to go to singles. And it was so fun to watch that, and then bringing it back to Shane Stokes again. But he's taking bets of saying, how many games do you think it'll be the difference and all this? And it was watching.
Oh, I love it.
Part of stands getting excited about it, just in a whole new way that, when you get to see, whatever, the co-ed singles and, the female goes up 3-0 on that, you're just so fired up. It's really, really cool. So.
Well, it's such a small, the singles, especially in the Dream Breaker, it has so many storylines within it that can be fascinating, but it's such a small sample size that literally anything can happen. It can be the top pick male versus the final pick female. But for those 4 points, anything can happen. That's what kind of Lee Whitwell and Deckel Barr and some of those highlight reel points in the first MLP ever, just it showed people like, hey, it can be totally different from how I think this would play out. And it literally is the tiebreaker. It means the difference in winning or losing the match. So I think the format is really, really cool, really different. And I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, I had a little bias too, because my girlfriend, Olivia McMillan, was playing on one of the teams, the whole year. And it's like, you get so caught up in that team. It's like, I've never cheered so much for Thomas Wilson and like Chuck Taylor before. I love those guys, but still it's like, let's go, like
you're invested. Yeah. You're invested now. Yeah.
So now I'm like, when I wasn't commentating, I'm just on the sidelines with, some White Claws in hand or some other adult beverage, and just going ham. Yeah. We got to go Vizzies now for TM, but it's just like, as a commentator, a fan, like a supporter of a team, it's just so much fun. And I think it also, what it does is it shows which players are good team players and which ones aren't. Because
I like it. Yeah.
Because you have some of the top 10 guys and gals not play very well, because they're not team players, right. and then you might see someone who's maybe further down the pecking order in terms of rankings really bring the energy, like I think Rafa Hugh is very good, right, and on its own right, but like, how amazing does he play in a team environment? He literally makes that team. So I think
he's kind of the heartbeat for the whole team. You're right.
Yeah, and he lifts up the whole team, and then everyone plays better, so I think it's just completely different than normal pickleball tours, So
yeah, you get to see more sides to the people that you already know. You already know them as players. They're already names but you get to see another side to them as a teammate, which can be a good or bad thing. But either way, it gives us stuff to talk about, right?
Exactly.
That's a fun question as well too. I mean, how does it bond some of the relationships between some of the pros that maybe have not, had those relationships before? Are they now on their sidelines when it comes to regular tournaments and things of that nature? It's kind of a fun demographic that you think, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys would know more than I would, it's just about drafts, right? So you could basically have a foe on your team, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's going to, some of the top guys, I don't know if they're going to have some say in the draft. I think originally, like the top pick was kind of in the ear of the main owner, where they had some say as to who they wanted to play with. But I'm sure that's not going to be complete control, right? And if there's somebody that you don't particularly like, but that they're the best pick available, you might just have to say, I'm just going to have to make it work because that person gives our team the best chance to win. So you're right. The storylines within it, you're going to have some with really natural chemistry, others without the chemistry, but with, maybe more talent or higher ranking or whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be really exciting to see what wins out. Is it going to be talent? Is it going to be the big names, or is it going to be people that get along, that just want to go to battle and fight for each other? And to be honest with you, I kind of think it's going to be a little bit more of the latter. I think it's going to be the people that enjoy their team, that enjoy fighting for each other, that stay positive. I think that's going to matter a ton. I think we're all excited to see, all the details, once that's released, to see how it plays out. And I will be front and center watching. Wherever front and center is, I will be there with the popcorn ready.
Popcorn ready. All right, gentlemen, thank you for that. Next thing we got here is, like what I mentioned earlier, smashed a beer with my good buddy Zach. Actually, good buddy after that day in Texas, because actually something that I did after we smashed beers together was I got his number and we partied all night long, and he was pumped, bro. Honestly, this guy was pumped. Brought his girl out. We had a great time. But I just got sponsored by Miller Lite, so something you're probably going to see next episode is a hanging Miller Lite sign somewhere in this pod den studio. In the den.
If it couldn't get any more pod banned.
Right. Miller.
Something that we're probably going to do is this thing called TM Miller time, where, anytime I win a medal or have a good day and get gold, which is going to be a lot, because from now on, I'm only owning Championship Sunday. Championship Sunday is my day. I own it. Anyhow, so when I run the show on Sunday and I'm getting gold and taking names, and after I get the dub, the Miller or somebody is going to pass out beers to the fans. I'm going to have a beer on court. We're all going to smash a beer together. And that if that trophy is there, I'm definitely going to put the second beer in that trophy and smash out of that trophy. Game over.
Christen it.
No,
Christen it.
Now, Tyson, if you want to help out Skechers as well, just start doing the shoey.
And hey, something that we mentioned. Oh, bro. Sorry. Something we mentioned in the last episode was a shoey is going to take place as well. So yeah, whether it's out of the trophy or it's out of the Skechers shoe, I'm going to go ham. First with the fans, and then I'd probably take a shoey over a dirty trophy that everybody's putting their fingers on.
100%.
Versus my own foot, right?
Right. Versus your sweat. Mix it all in there.
Come on.
Cocktail.
The Skechers shoey, game over. Game over. If Barstool doesn't produce an article with the Skechers shoey, I don't know what will,
Hashtag shoey.
Come on.
Give the guy a shoey.
Come on, Barstool. Take this podcast partner. I'm your guy. I will gladly take shoeys all day long. Come on, El Presidente. Come on, man. I'm your guy. Come and knocking.
It's a big week for him, man. He's a Michigan dude. So Michigan, Ohio State this weekend. He is this is a perfect week. Hashtag him that you root for Michigan, and I guarantee he'll start to pay attention.
Love it. Johnny, did you watch Adesanya and Alex? Or is it Pereira? Pereira, right? Pereira and Adesanya, sick, bro. And hey, doesn't matter if you're up for 4.5 rounds and there's 2 minutes left, man.
Hey,
it's not how you start, it's about how you finish.
Hey, it's a fist fight. It's like it's the 4-ounce gloves, one hit changes everything. But I mean, I feel like he was still trying to do it right. I think Pereira just realized he was losing. He's just like, all right, screw it. I'm just gonna go for his chin, and he caught one. And then I guess Izzy was saying he wasn't really phased, but I think he was pretty phased.
A little rocked, yeah.
But I mean, I feel like
they all say that, don't they?
Yeah, I feel like the ref could have let it go a little longer.
Right.
It's like a championship fight. Like I would just let the dude get knocked out. I mean, that's just me. But I'm not a fighter, so I don't know.
bro, that was. I mean, Izzy looked so sharp for 4.5 rounds, and then his movement got compromised by that calf kick. He couldn't get out of the way, and I mean, the crazy thing is that Alex is a huge 85-pounder. The guy, he cuts from 225, bro. You know what's crazy is that 12 hours, no, this is insane. 12 hours after weigh-ins, he was up to 208. So 12 hours, he had gained 20-something pounds? I mean, it's insane. The guy is huge.
Bro, he probably shouldn't be fighting middleweight.
No.
Because he looked, because
he looks so much bigger than Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, with Izzy's skinny, but he's actually pretty big, though. From what everyone says, it's he's a pretty big human still. And Pereira made him look tiny. He made him look like a lightweight.
Pereira's back is massive, bro. I mean, in all the tats and all the above. Anyhow,
he's a freak.
The guy's a.
So I'm guessing that fight has I'm guessing that has rematch written all over it.
Well, I don't know. Kazmat Chimaev is calling Alex out to fight in Brazil, which would be sick. And talk about another big guy. I mean, Kazmat fighting at 170. I mean, he looked huge. I mean, he was like equivalent to Alex fighting at 185, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like Khamzat wins that even just because it's going to go to the ground.
Yeah.
And Pereira looked kind of amateurish on the ground to Izzy, and Izzy's not really a grappler. So I don't know. I'd say Khamzat wins that one.
Yeah. Probably the best Izzy moment, bro, was when he was fighting Kevin Gastelum. And it was like the only time where I've seen Izzy like banged up like that. Right? And Kevin looked good, and Kevin hasn't done a thing afterwards. Shout out to Kevin, bro. Kevin wrestled at North Idaho College, which is in Coeur d'Alene. But anyhow, so it's going into the 5th round. Izzy looks at him as his back's on the cage, and he says, "I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die." Bro, these guys are built different. I'm ready to die. And I swear, so my trainer fought in Bellator, MMA guy, and bro, that fires me up. And honestly, like one of the main reasons I have that guy around is because he has a wrestling background. I can relate to that stuff. I brought him out to nationals. His name's Craig Feisner. He's a complete savage, and he's also a total gem. He's going to be with me all next year with probably I think there's 20 PPA events. He's going to come to like 10 or 12. Anyhow, that like authentic, hard nose, in your face type of shit. I freaking love that stuff. Kill or be killed, baby.
Hey, are you going to the one in Orlando or what?
I'm definitely going to Orlando. I'm trying to figure out tickets, and then I'm going to UFC Apex on the 17th, which is during Vegas Cup. Bro, that weekend's gonna be so sick. So Vegas Cup is inside of the convention center at Mandalay Bay, right? So they're like building, they're bringing in like the pickle roll courts, laying them down. And then I'm going to a UFC freaking killer weekend in Vegas, man. Come on.
Christmas come early.
Christmas came early. Christmas came early. I'm splurging in Vegas. But bro,
just get Sherry.
Hey, no, K-Mac, tell the boys about Wet Republic. Did you guys see that?
Oh man.
I saw it in your stories.
Oh yeah.
From what I can remember, no. I mean, we had such a good time. We had a bunch of pros out there, and I don't know. I maybe converted over to the day drinking party rather than
it's easy.
Thing,
it's so easy.
100%.
I mean, if you can do it, obviously we splurged for kind of the VIP box area, but that may be the way to go. We had a blast. Sherry just got completely lit. Was in a positive way, calling people out. Talking about, different formats, wanted to take Tyson down,
rally scoring.
Rally scoring. Like enough of this having to play these top guys in the 3rd or 4th round when I'm winded. He's like, catch me when I'm fresh. We'll do this right now. Yeah. No, we had a blast. Absolute blast.
Sherry's main quote of the day was "Winners want the ball," and I'm like, Sherry, we're at a pool party, dog. We're at a pool party. Winners want the ball.
He's yelling, "Go Gators!
Go Gators!"
He can't turn it off.
Oh, bro. But no, next time we're all in Vegas and there's a pool party going, let's all get together. It was so much fun. Yeah, Little John was playing. It was Meg and I's 4-year anniversary. We did the champagne shower, got a bottle of Don P. Bro, it was so much fun. I mean, don't check the bill in the morning, but it's all good.
Kyle, I'm happy to see you're gonna get on the day drinking train. It's typically what I like to do. I like to be in bed passed out by 8 p.m. Just start early on vacation, baby.
Oh yeah, hey, John, where are you at right now? By the way,
that's the way to do it.
So I'm in Kiowa Island in Charleston right now with Olivia and her family.
Sounds rough.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna be having a good time for the next few days.
She's an angel. She's an angel.
She is. She's coming for everybody next year. That's what she wants me to say.
Coming for their heads.
She's going to be winning. If she gets drafted.
Is she holding cue cards down there below you? Is that what she's saying?
I'm coming to take heads off.
Hey, she wants to be the lioness on Sunday,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, love it. And Matt, how's your little angel?
She's wonderful, man. It's funny we didn't get to watch that UFC fight because last week we were in the Caribbean. Not to out vacation you, John. but we're
Throwing shade.
I live in Florida. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Love it. And K-Mac, is your angel there with you right now?
She is. She's a few steps away from me. We just we stuck around Newport, did a couple of days of adult Disney time, which was a nice change of pace. We've done it with the kids, and so we got through the day a little more stress free than with family of 6. But no, had a blast. Gonna fly back home in a few hours here.
Love it for sure. All right, boys. Well, hey, I want to say thank you guys for coming on. I hope you guys had a good time.
Oh, for sure. I'm happy to be on the #1 pickleball content creator show.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. And we're definitely going to do this again. So this is just a start here. We're just getting started.
Thank you guys for having me, just being so open, being a part of all this, man. This is like, I feel like I can be like, where were you here? And I was like, I was here when the Miller Lite story broke.
Miller time. TM Miller time. Anyhow, K-Mac, appreciate you. John, appreciate you. Matt, appreciate you, buddy. You guys have a good day and keep crushing life.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
guys.
Tyson, for having me.
All right, this is
easy, boys.
This is the McGuffin Show. My name is Tyson Mcguffin. You guys can like, subscribe, turn those notifications on to the McGuffin or to the Tyson Mcguffin Pickleball YouTube page. Also, to John, what is your socials and what is your pod?
So the John Davison on because I'm the one and only. So the John Davison on every social. Dropping in pickleball podcast. Olivia and I just getting that started. So we're going to start getting a little more active. So we're going to try to compete with the TM crowd shortly. So
love it.
Just give it a follow.
Yeah. And Matt, where can people follow you, brother?
Mostly Instagram. It's a ridiculous name because it's part of my act. It's called Party Girl Chica 420.
I love it. That's what I wanted to hear.
Or just search Matt Lauria. There's a Matt Lauria that was a character in the Friday Night Lights, but he doesn't smoke or drink and is not cool. So just follow the one that's the opposite.
And K-Mac, where can people follow you and how can they sign up for a camp to get K-Mac'd?
Yeah, well, you won't have to go far to sign up for a KMAC camp. Just go to TysonMcGuffin.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Kyle.McKenzie.pb, or friend me on Facebook, Kyle McKenzie Pickleball.
Boom. See you guys.